Hi, guys. Welcome to the Marketing Rizz Podcast. I am your host, Crispino, and today we have with us Brad Holcman. Brad is a four-time Emmy-nominated TV exec and founder of the $2 bill brand. Brad now helps entrepreneurs, real estate pros, and industry experts become unforgettable using the same storytelling and branding strategies he used to greenlight $2 billion in television content. So, this is an exciting podcast for all you founders, coaches, and consultants out there trying to create an irresistible brand for yourself. So, welcome to the show, Brad. It is great to have you here with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope to help a lot of your listeners out there with the one thing that I feel is most important is how do you separate yourself from everyone else?
Absolutely, Brad. And I think that's very important right now in 2026. We are halfway through the year. So much of AI content. Everybody on LinkedIn sounds the same because they use the same tools to write the content. And everybody's a thought leader now, right? So
Yeah.
how do you actually build a brand? And I was looking out for someone in that space who can actually talk about it. And I found your profile to be super interesting because you've built TV shows, you've worked in Hollywood, and I think there's nobody better who can actually talk about storytelling and brand building than you. So it's really amazing to have you on here. So
Thank you.
before we get started, out of curiosity, I'd like to ask you what are the four Emmy nominated shows that you worked on and how was that part of your career?
So it was one show, but I was Emmy nominated 4 years on that show. So the show's
Lovely.
called,
Okay.
yeah, so the show's called Intervention, and where we took individuals that were addicted to drugs, alcohol, any substance. They were
Hmm.
rock bottom, and we
Hmm.
showcased the life that they lived. And in parallel,
Wow.
we were
Yeah.
preparing their family and friends to confront that individual in intervention. And what an intervention is when you basically say, hey, everything that we've provided for you, money, credit card, phones, even our friendship, we are going to, as of right now, if you do not accept the help that you deserve to become sober, then we are going to remove ourselves from your life. It was and that's rock bottom. So that's why it's called intervention. So we showcased the world of drug addiction like no other. It was the most intimate, very personal story of an individual going through an incredibly difficult time while providing empathy for that individual, despite the fact that they were doing really bad things. So it was what I call, which is my brand, entertainment with a purpose. So it wasn't just putting on television for television's sake to entertain, but there was a true intent. And over the
Yeah.
course of close to 400 episodes, we saved almost 400 lives, we believe. It really worked. And the audiences were just captivated at what they saw. And I can only imagine that we've helped thousands of others that were watching the show as well. So I was the executive producer on the show, oversaw the episodes, and was Emmy nominated as a result with a bunch of my former colleagues over the course of 4 years. So it was really exciting. It's one of those things that in entertainment in Hollywood, it's truly an honor. I didn't know the weight of it, especially when it comes to my own brand. When I stepped out of the day to day of the entertainment industry, and it's only something that I've become more proud of because I knew that when I got an Emmy nomination, there's no guarantees for a second or third or a fourth, and I was truly grateful for it. And then having it the
Yeah.
ability to kind of open up that door for others, so that I can what I did with intervention, I can do for you and yourself, and why that show became a distinct and different series that was watched by millions. I can do that same for individuals.
Love it. Love it. So you had a super successful corporate career in Hollywood, I'd say, Brad, right?
Yes.
But you've spoken about the moment in your previous content where you stopped producing other people's success and wanted to bet on yourself. So
Well, it's fun.
how did
Go ahead.
that turning point come around and what gave you the courage to walk away from Hollywood?
I don't know if there's courage is the word. It's something that you totally just, I loved my career. And I'm still producing television. I'm still producing other people. I still have a couple shows on the air, but I talk about mountains and climbing mountains. And there's one person that climbs Mount Everest. That person's forever known and everybody else follows. And it's amazing, but it's only one person that gets to the top. But what if you took all that skills, found a mountain that no one else has climbed, and you climb that mountain, plant your flag on it. Now you own the mountain, you name the mountain. And I think that's where if I took all my years of experience and I wanted to name my own mountain. And I realized that in entertainment, I was providing entertainment to millions of people, but the impact was something a bit passive. It was already an industry that was established. I was living in the rules of the industry. And because there was a moment in my entertainment industry that I started meeting entrepreneurs and understanding the entrepreneur mindset, I was like, oh, wait, I can help so many more people with exactly the same skill set. But the impact on individuals' lives, I believe, is far greater and more fulfilling than doing it on the television screen. So I don't regret a single day in my entertainment industry, but I was living and helping other people and I enjoyed it. Now I wanted to do that both for myself and for others. In the entertainment industry, you didn't have a brand. You didn't have a personal brand. Your brand was the logo of the company you work for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I love that to a point, and it was awesome, but it only takes you so far. So as I was starting to help people while working my W-2, and I was doing it just because that's what you do as entertainment professionals, people kept telling me, that's what you need to be doing. That's your career. You don't understand how much knowledge that you have that you can now help others. So I talk about building a network and being the person in the room that people look for. So what I started doing was networking and talking to people. And just because I learned from others, I wanted to learn skill of outgive the biggest giver in a room. So enter any room I am and be that biggest giver. And I knew that reputation is incredible. That's a brand. That's a reputation that I think anybody would want. That's the person, to give, not knowing if I was ever going to need to help or ask for help for others. So I've been doing that. And then there was one day, and I've told the story before. I was at a 2,000 person summit. I was a real estate summit in Orlando, Florida. And I was announcing a show with a gentleman named Grant Cardone. And if you don't know Grant, just look him up. He's a pretty big
I know
deal.
Brad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the real
And
estate
we
space,
were,
right? Yeah.
we were announcing a show with him and he was one of the keynote speakers. So
Was it the Discovery show that he did, Undercover Millionaire?
This was after
Okay.
that. That wasn't his show. He was on the show, but it wasn't his show.
Yeah.
And we produced his show.
This was his show. Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm backstage, hanging out with Grant's wife and his two number twos. So then Grant goes on stage. Elena, his wife, pulls me into the front row. We're in the front row, right in the middle with 2,000 people behind us. And I'm seeing Grant own the stage. He's owning a stage of 2,000 people. And I look at him and I'm like, I want to do that. He's changing everybody's life today. I want to be that person that does that. And hours after that, that's when I left. I had a call with my company and that was the last day. It was the last day of my job and I'd been preparing for it mentally.
Yeah.
But then I also say, those that are in W-2 careers, when are you ready to jump and build a career and build a business of your own? The answer is you are never ready. You will never be ready.
True.
So what do? You jump into the deep end and you have no idea if you're going to swim. So one of two things are going to happen when you do that. You're going to drown and die. Yeah. That's probably not a good thing. Or you're going to figure it out. You're going to survive.
Absolutely.
Maybe not thrive at first, but you're going to survive. But what you don't realize is all this goodwill that you've been putting in, all this help, and the mindset of the abundance mindset, the law of reciprocity, just putting all the goodwill out. There's going to be all these lifeguards around you that if you ever start struggling, they're going to jump in and help you. Or you're going to be in that water knowing, hey, I need help. And there's going to be people that are willing to jump in. And I knew that this road is not for everybody. It has been the most difficult 2 years of my life. It is, I wake up every morning and I make a choice to stay in bed or to get out and help somebody. And the days that I get out of bed and help someone is a step forward in the right direction. So you're never ready. I've had a very successful career, but it was a successful career that I did not have the decision whether to promote me, pay me more money, or do the job that I wanted to do and thought I was destined for.
Or even
so what
the
do you do?
Ownership of the asset. The asset
exactly.
wasn't yours.
So what do? You can complain to others or you can do something about it. And I believe in doing something about it. And That's what I've been doing for the past couple of years.
Love that, Brad. Love that. And I have a very similar story. I have a 13-year corporate experience, and I had the same feeling that you had as well.
Yeah.
And very similar, not a similar timeline, but very similar. So I saw Gary Vee and Grant Cardone at one show in Melbourne, Australia. I attended it live and I had goosebumps when Gary Vee was motivating, when Grant Cardone went on the stage and he was talking, and then he flashed out cash, like he threw cash in the air and people were running to catch it. And like the way they were commanding the stage, it was amazing and very inspiring to see both of them in their own times. But yes, it is very motivating, absolutely. And even I, after 13 years of working in corporate, successful career as a marketing director last, I realized that it is for all the reasons that you said, and I also felt its ownership. At the same pace, I would be working till I'm 60, probably the age of retiring, and I wouldn't have anything of my own. I'd be working for someone else, and it would be a rented asset. And at the end, I have to give it all back. So there is nothing that I've built for myself that I can rely on, or something that I can proudly say is mine. So that is
Totally.
what led me as well to take that step. And you're right, you're never ready for it. You keep waiting for the right time, and the right time never comes. You just got to jump into the deep end and figure it out. I liked one thing what you said though. You said you spoke about asking for help, right? Because the initial phase, it's been 6 months for me. So you know what I'm going through maybe. So it's just been 6 months for me right now. So and many of the people listening to this podcast as well are new entrepreneurs or coaches or people who want to take that step or who are struggling maybe right now. So how do you know when you need to ask for help? And because sometimes people don't even realize they need help, right? You feel you're doing well, or you feel the next breakthrough is just around the corner. So when do you know you need help, and how should you gracefully ask for help, if I can put it?
Yeah. Very simply, there's not a time that you don't need help. I mean, that's
Hmm.
really what it is. So I will tell you, and you may have heard the line, you can't read the label when you're inside the jar. So you actually don't. So if you're inside a jar, the label's on the outside, you can't read it. So
Yeah,
that's when you need help, is when you're inside and others can see the label. Others can help you. So
absolutely.
you actually, when you ask the question, when do you know you need help? You actually don't ever really know that you need help, because you can't clearly see the outside when you're on the inside. And that's not a weakness whatsoever, but you need someone to hold up the light. You need someone to talk to. You need someone. So what do you do? Who are those people that help? So at the very base level, it's podcasts and books. It's amazing what 20 years of career they put an individual into a book, and you get to buy it for $20. Literally their life's work. And I can spend $20 to learn that. Same thing what's happening on podcasts, hours and hours and hours. I listen to podcasts all the time. I'm just a function.
Yeah,
Yes,
same.
I have my lived experience, and that's what makes me distinct and unique. Those odd stories, the people that I've helped, my career. But a lot of this is really based on other people as well. Why pave a path if it's already been paved in front of you? What you need to do is, once you cross the path, make it your own, make it distinct and different, but don't recreate. There's only a few Elon Musks in the world. You don't need to be
Hmm.
Elon Musk. You know, the going to my $2 bill brand, the $2 bill, and I always keep one right in front. You know, it's a $2 bill
I
here.
love that.
And in America, it's a bill you don't see. It is not
Yeah,
circulated as wide. People use the dollar bill or the $5 bill. But whenever in America somebody shows a $2 bill, they always stop. People don't spend this. They hold on to it. They have a story. There's something special about it. So you don't need to be the $100 bill, right? $100 bill, you can buy 50 times more of this. You just need to be something distinct and different, a little bit different from anyone else. So what is that? Somebody can help you with that. Somebody can understand. Maybe a story that you've lived just seems like last Tuesday, but to somebody that hasn't heard the story, it blows them away. And a little bit of that was with my Emmy nominations. There's a lot of people in the entertainment industry that have been Emmy nominated. Not everybody, but there's been a lot of people. But when I talk about my Emmy nominations outside of the jar, people are like, oh, just like you just said, it's something that's very different. It defines me. I've got a story behind it. I know what the show is. I can tell you what the nomination process was. I can tell you walking a red carpet. I can tell you taking selfies with celebrities and the biggest names of Hollywood. I instantly was put into this world, this very small world of people that have been honored, you know, and it also proves that I was in the room. that somebody else is telling me that I am legit. I'm not just, through AI, telling you that I'm a thought leader. I've got thought leader proof. And that's what AI won't help you with. AI is very good at scaling and automating stuff. So the more distinct and different your stuff is, the better that AI is going to be for you. So when you find out who you are, and what makes you distinct and different, then AI is great. But without that, you're just another AI influencer, if you will.
Absolutely. So, Brad, you had shall we say, a very beautiful backstory. But what about these entrepreneurs who don't have a beautiful backstory and who are selling boring products? Maybe a financial tool or maybe an accounting software, or a SaaS software. So how can they find their own lead and how can they find their compelling story?
All right. So that's a myth. Everybody has something unique. All right. So we all have a fingerprint, right? The
Yeah.
reason why, if you get arrested or, they put your fingerprint in because you're the only one that has your fingerprint. Now, seemingly this fingerprint, it's just a fingerprint, right? But there are hundreds of stories inside this fingerprint. So what it does is it takes somebody that doesn't know who you are or what you are to extract those stories. And it's the summation of those stories that make you you. Nobody else has your lived experience. Nobody else has your day to day. But sometimes it takes somebody else with my skill set or a skill set like mine to put all of that together. So, one of the things I always talk about is everybody has their own light. Everybody. Now, sometimes it's a summation of a few things. It's not as easy as the $2 bill brand or my message, don't be the best, be the only, or be the only, be the $2 bill. Like, that's taken me an entire lifetime to figure out. The $2 bill started when I was 2 years old. It wasn't,
Oh,
it
really?
didn't happen. Yeah,
What's
it
the
didn't happen.
story behind that?
So the story behind it, I'll give you I'll give you it in length because it's something that I only kind of realized as I started when I left my day to day of the career and telling the story that I realized it was something truly special. Now, when I tell the story, you're going to be like, well, duh, it's a great story. But that's my point is everybody's got this story. I just know it. And I've just been able to tell it. Everybody's got it in there. So the $2 bill in Judaism, there is a tradition called Shaliach Mitzvah. And I'm Jewish. And what that is an individual would give people money, give a loved one money when they travel. And whatever that money was, it served as protection for them when they traveled. But also the mitzvah part in Judaism is a good deed. So when you got to the other place, you didn't hold on to whatever the financial was that protected you. You instantly gave it away to someone in need. Now, most people give dollar bills just because it's more of the act and protection and tradition of Judaism. But my grandmother, because she was extra, she gave $2 bills because she selfishly wanted to be remembered, not egotistically, but just be like, everybody else gives a dollar bill. I'm going to give $2 bills. So she gave me $2 bills when I traveled. And every time when I travel, I'd give that $2 bill. And always there was a story. Always it was met with, oh, I haven't seen that. Or I have their $2 bill story. So It started with my grandmother, Charlotte. And my grandmother, Charlotte, has been such a fixture of my life. So she taught me how to be different with the $2 bill, which led me, and I believe everything happens for a reason. My grandmother passed away. She was in a coma suddenly many years ago. And there was a gathering while my grandmother was in a coma, and my sister traveled from New York. I traveled from Los Angeles. And because my sister's best friend had been at college with my sister and lived also in New York, they traveled together because my sister's best friend became a friend of my family. So we're in a coma, and one individual was by my grandmother's side for 40 of the 48 hours. Actually, two individuals. It was my cousin, who was a nurse. So she understood she could explain all the medical goings. And then this woman named Samantha. And this woman named Samantha was my sister's best friend. And she was in the room for 40 of the 48 hours that my grandmother was in a coma. Something that our family couldn't do because the matriarch of our family did not look like her and certainly did not have the spirit. And we were all distraught. my grandmother passes away. And 2 days later, I gave the eulogy at the funeral. And at the funeral, I thanked two people, my cousin, the nurse, and I thanked this woman named Samantha. Instantly at that moment, something happened. That night, actually early that next morning, our relationship started. Not only did our relationship started 2 years later, we got married. And a year after that, we had our first child. We named our child Charlotte after my grandmother, Charlotte. And then 3.5 years ago, we happened to move to a town called Charlotte in North Carolina. So all of this stemming from this $2 bill from my grandmother has a real meaning to it. And when I'm thinking about my story and how it's distinct and different, that's what I help others. Everybody's got their Charlotte story. Everybody's got their $2 bill story. So my mission, which I didn't know until 2 years ago, was everybody's got this story in them. My job that I've been doing in television for 25 years, my job was always to find the $2 bill story. My job was always to find what somebody is distinct and different. It wasn't the prettiest, the smartest, the most talkative, it was what makes them distinct and unique. What makes you stop doing whatever you're doing and tell a friend? That's marketing, that's sales, but that's television. And we all have that in us. Most of us don't know what it is. Most of us have never talked about it. Most of us cannot read the label when we're inside the jail. So that's what I help people do, is find their own.
So that's an amazing story, first of all, Brad. I was super invested in it and I could actually imagine it happen. And I'm so happy the way it unfolded and you found your better half through this whole experience. So I love that and super happy for you. But yeah, so now coming back to finding your only, I was going through the app
Yes.
and I was so invested in your story that I completely forgot about my next question.
Well, let me
Yeah.
come in. I have a tool and it's all free. There's
Yes.
no anything. It's findyouronly.app and it takes you through
Yeah.
8 questions. And it
Yeah.
helps, at the very least, the questions make you think about what makes you distinct and different. And then through my 25 years of television, my philosophies, my methodologies, it's all built on the back end. It helps you find your only statement. And it's not meant to be perfect. It's literally meant to be a rough draft and just get you thinking of, if I put these things together, that's what makes me distinct and different. So for all of the viewers and all the people watching this, go to findyouronly.app. Again, it's completely free. There's no anything.
I'm on it right now. Yeah.
Great. You'll get lots of emails from me because all my emails are, I believe, in the model. And you mentioned Gary Vee earlier, is jab, 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 jab. I actually don't believe in the hook. I don't believe in the hook.
You don't believe in the hook. Okay. Just keep jabbing.
I believe the people that give the most at some point will receive the most. And the only people I want to be in business with are the people that raise their hand and say, hey, do you have something to sell? Do you have a product? Do you have a service? That's the people that I want to be in business with. I'm not a sales guy. I am not a marketing guy. I'm a story guy. I help people. So I only want to help the people that want to be helped. And you know it. If you love something, you're going to ask if they have a product, if they have a relationship, if they have a service. You know it. I don't need to be told that they have a service. And I don't ever want somebody feel compelled to give me even $1 if they don't feel that I'm the best person for them. And I only want to work with people that really want to invest in themselves, that I can help them with, because in my couple years and in my career, those that want help absolutely will get the help. Those that are here or there, or maybe that were because of a sales funnel or whatever, and they're like, they reluctantly paid the money or they struggle. Like, I never want you to struggle. I do believe that if you give me $1, I'll turn it into 10. Absolutely, no doubt. But I want you to realize that that's the help that you need. Findyouronly.app is that first step. It helps you. And then if we want to talk, happy to talk. But I love it's built on my entire career. It gets better every day, just like AI. In fact, we're going through another version of this. We're putting more into it, more back end. A couple of the questions are going to evolve. It's going to be the similar questions, but my goal is there's 8.5 billion people in this world. I want 8.5 billion people to understand what makes them distinct and different. And when people do know that, it's amazing what happens. When you can stand in front of a room or go to a networking room and be like, I'm Brad and I do this. And instantly you separate yourself from everyone else and you target and you actually what you can do is help somebody in pain on the other side, it's a really powerful feeling. And it makes you get up in the morning, stay up at late at night, because you know that you have a destiny. You have a purpose on life to help that individual. Why I put, I'm on social media every day putting product out there is because I will never be the problem if somebody wakes up and needs my help. I will always have content out there. You will always find me. I just don't know when. I don't know when you're going to need me in 6 months, 12 months, tomorrow, yesterday. So I just need to keep feeding you and feeding you. And when you're hungry enough, I'm going to be there for you. And I'm going to be able to help you. So that's why I get up every morning, is because I do have a destiny to help as many people as I can.
Love that, Brad. Love that conviction. And I love your passion for it as well. I can see it. I can feel it in your voice. And I think the world needs more people like you,
Thank
because
you.
I feel everyone's lost. Like I do a lot of these podcasts. I speak to a lot of founders. A lot of my clients are startup founders as well. And a lot of them are lost, especially in telling their story, figuring out their positioning. That's a huge thing. Recently, one of my clients was spending a lot of money, say $2,000 per month on ads. And when I reviewed their business, I realized that their positioning is wrong. Their branding is almost nil. So you're spending money on Google ads, people are clicking the ads, but you're just paying the money to educate them and to land on your page. And then they see your website, which is not developed properly. So it's just wastage. So I think there's a lot of noise, a lot of fake marketers out there as well, who just want to sell their service, or who just want to, as you said, be a part of the funnel and just, at the end of the day, sell their course to you. And people get stuck in that wrong cycle, and then they end up burning a lot of money. So love that. I'll put the link of the app in the description of the podcast episode as well. And yeah, so just to wind up, Brad, if anybody wants to work with you, how should they get in touch with you?
Great. Go to findyouronly.app. I will get everybody's message. And then I am literally on every social media channel. And as our friend Gary Vee said, it's not social media, it's interest media. So you will very quickly learn who I'm about. So I am literally posting on YouTube Monday through Friday. That's my long form. So if it's Bradley Holcman. If you just search my last name, Holcman, you'll find me on YouTube. I believe my LinkedIn posts are pretty good. I post also Monday through Friday on long form post on LinkedIn. So if you DM me on LinkedIn, I'm there. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. Just everywhere. And that's what I believe too. Is just to talk about this.
Yeah.
Most people in the world are consumers. Very few people are creators. Be a creator. Just by putting yourself out there, all of a sudden, the competition is far less. So instead of doing this, do this. That's it. Instead of turning your phone and touching it, hit record and just say something, anything. It doesn't matter if you have a light. It doesn't matter if you have a microphone. It does not matter. What people are dying for is your words out of your own mouth. They are not dying for perfection. They are not dying for produced. They're dying for personality. They want story. They want connection. So be that person. Be that person. And I want to see your face, and I want to see the words coming out of your face. I want to hear your dog barking. I want to hear your phone ringing. I want to see you off a little bit like this, and maybe like this, or just anywhere else, because that signals to me that you're real and you want to be there for me. And we're dying for that. So I implore people, put yourself out there just like I do every day. Nobody cares what you look like. Nobody cares anything. Like, who cares about clothes? Wear the same thing every day. Guess what? Alex Hormozy does. Elon Musk does. Like, all the biggest people in the world, the biggest innovators do. So who cares? Who cares? All people care about is how you can serve them. That's it. And people can't find you if you're not talking about yourself. It's not egotistical. It's actually a service we need to do more of, because there's somebody out there that needs to hear your words today, and you care too much about yourself. We don't care about yourself, care about the person that's dying to hear your words. So please put yourself out there, and trust me, if you do that for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, holy cow, the amount of lives you're going to change is crazy. You only learn by doing. You only learn by putting yourself out there. Just keep doing it. So yeah, I can spend a lot of money and get millions of people into my funnel. That's the beauty of media today. You can, but it doesn't mean that they're going to connect with you. And you only do it by by doing. So what I tell people is
Organically.
post organically. And then once you got that fire, then you pour gasoline on it. That's the paid strategy. It's organic to paid. So if you see people are loving a message and maybe repeatedly, all of a sudden pour gasoline on it with paid, and now it's going to explode. The beauty of media today and marketing today is you can actually know if something worked or not before you spend a dollar, a dime. I can't do that in my old world. You spend millions of dollars to get a television spot. You would have no idea who comes into your funnel, into your front door. You don't know if it's good. You've already spent millions of dollars. Here, literally $0. Zero. And you then pour money on what works, and then your world explodes. So there's no reason why anyone out there is not living the life of their dreams. Well, there is, because they're not living. They're hoping and praying. And hoping and praying doesn't get you the life. You got to do.
Absolutely. Or they're consuming. You should create rather than consume. Love that.
Now,
Love that, Brian.
Now, you should consume a little bit because you should understand what's working and what's not working.
Yeah,
But, but you're probably doing it about 90% of the time that you shouldn't. If you go in with intention.
And I think you should consume better content, like how you said you watch podcasts, you read books, so you can consume better form content rather than watching a reel of some stupid AI videos. You watch Alex Hormozzi's reel, maybe, right?
Exactly. And when you're in the car or wherever you're traveling, put your earbuds in, and instead of listening to music, listen to a podcast. When you're making your coffee in the morning, put your earbud in, listen to coffee. When you're brushing your teeth, put your earbud in, listen to a podcast.
Listen to a podcast, yeah.
Do it, make it a habit. Make it a habit.
Yes.
Read books. My friend says read 8 pages every day. That's it. It takes you less than 15 minutes. When you think about 8 pages a day times 365 days a year, you're reading a lot of books. The wealthiest individuals almost always are the biggest readers and the biggest listeners of podcasts. So if you ever need to know what books or what podcasts to, again, let that be a reason to reach out to me. I'll give you, a couple of recommendations as well. I only read what gets recommended to me based on my friends. I just finished a book called The Surrender Experiment that talks about life and surrendering to what life presents at you. Beautiful, amazing story and book that taught me so much. Of individual that I care. I would have never read the book unless somebody recommended it to me. So I love recommending and talking about books and podcasts for others.
Love that. Brad, this was an amazing conversation. I enjoyed it. And I think the audience also will find it very helpful, because some of the things that you spoke about, being authentic, just putting yourself out there, I think we need a lot more of that, because I know a few people watching this podcast, and this is for you. Do pull the trigger and create your content that you've been sitting on for months now. So I think this podcast will act as a reminder for them as well. So I hope you enjoyed your.
Thank you. And hopefully the audience keeps listening to more. You're doing what others aren't doing. You are providing the stage, and those that provide the stage and the opportunity are the ones that do advance. And 100%, it should be selfish. You're hearing conversations because you're offering a service. And that should be also a lesson to those that are listening. Stop complaining, stop going, woe is me, and start building and creating. And that's what you are doing. And I thank you for that.
Love that. Thank you so much, Brad. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Cheers.